So that VFL game didn't go anywhere near as planned. Let's talk about it. So on Saturday night, the Pies VFL side took on Frankston's VFL side, and this was touted as one of the biggest VFL games that Collingwood's had in a while, and probably one of the biggest VFL home and away games of the season, just in general. We had Jordan Goey returning, Billy Frampton, Bobby Hill, Finn McCrae, Mason Cox was playing, and the team was just stacked. And I bought into the hype. I absolutely bought into the hype, just like everyone else did. I'm like, oh my God, Frankston aren't going to know what hit them. You know, the Pies were sitting fifth currently. The Frankston were seventh. We sort of needed this win to sort of push into that top four space and, create some distance. And I'm going, yes, Premiership players. I know that we're returning from injury, but this will boost up the VFL side. Frankston's not going to know what's going on. And then bang. The first quarter, incredible, really good. It was a really wet, rainy, slippery night up in Frankston. It was a sellout, by the way, which was incredible, 5,500 people or something like that. And the first quarter, we were up for the fight. Bobby Hill kicked 2 goals in his return in the first quarter. We kicked 3 goals in that first quarter. Frankston kicked 1. And I'm thinking, oh, cool, this is going to be good. It might be a little bit close now because of the wet conditions, and we're not going to get that sort of dry Collingwood football. But then after quarter time, it was all Frankston, like literally all Frankston, except for the last quarter when we got sort of junk time goals and reduced the deficit from 50 points to 36 points or something. Um, but in that second quarter, Frankston kicked 6 goals. We kicked 1 goal. And it was just, there was just no fight around the contest. We just looked shell shocked. Frankston had all of the answers. And when they started kicking goals in that second quarter, their supporters started getting really into it. The guy was coming off, they were booing him. Mason Cox was coming off, they were booing him. There's trumpets going, there's bongos going. It was actually a really cool experience. I think that was the first time I've ever been to Frankston. Definitely the first time I've ever been to the Dolphins home ground. So it was a really cool experience, despite us getting absolutely smashed. Now we'll talk about the AFL listed players on their return and what I thought about them a little bit later on in this video. But I just want to talk about the VFL side just in general. We've been pretty good this year, definitely an improvement over the last couple of years. But sometimes we've been up and down. We've been ebbing and flowing. And to do what we did to Geelong last week and then to put this performance up, I think you have to put it down to the mixing of the chemistry. So we take out whatever it is, 5 or 6 VFL listed players to bring in these premiership players that are returning from injury, and they have to come in, right? And it's harsh on the VFL players, but the AFL senior listed players needed football to play, so they come in. So that stuffed up the chemistry a little bit already. And another thing as well, it could be that because the AFL players aren't training with the VFL players, they did the other night for that one session. They're not really, mixing with them. And again, the chemistry gets stuffed up a little bit. So that all plays a part in it. I thought the weather played a really big part in it as well. Frankston played better to the conditions that we did. We were still trying to play dry football in really wet conditions and not taking territory, or whenever we were going inside 50, they were just bad inside 50s, not putting the pressure on the scoreboard. So kind of like what our AFL team does anyway. So you can see where they get it from. But we should have. Look, I don't really know how Frankston, were going all season. I have seen a little bit, and I've seen their scores and stuff like that. But this should have been a really good matchup for us, and we just got embarrassed. We really did get embarrassed. And now there's only 2 games left of the VFL season. So we've got Williamstown next week. Then we've got the bye. Then we've got Port Melbourne. So Williamstown are currently 9th. Port Melbourne is 17th. We need to win at least one of those to avoid, sorry, the wild card rounds, because you don't want to play in the wild card rounds. You want to have that extra week break, and kick into finals and not have to play an elimination as the wild card. So there's only 2 games left, but I'm pretty sure if results do go our way this week, we're guaranteed finals, which is good. And I've been saying this for a long time. It's good for our AFL team as well when we can get guys through the VFL. So that'll help. But yeah, it was just one of those nights, and I think it really just came down to messing with the chemistry because we needed these AFL listed players playing. So let's go through the players that returned and give you my thoughts on them. And we'll start with Finn McCrae. Now, Finn McCrae had 25 disposals, kicked a goal in the last quarter, a nice goal from 50 meters out, pretty much when the game was dead. But I thought Finn did pretty good. He was one of our top disposal getters. Um, the only thing with Finn, and I know it's his first game back, so this is not a big knock on him. It's still just his disposal efficiency. I think at about half time or during the third quarter, because he was going at like 42%. He upped it to about 54% or something like that. So that's not too bad. It's not good. It was good that he started getting it up there, but there was just some things throughout that game where he just wasn't clean enough. And I get it; it's his first game back in what feels like months and months and months. So that's just cobwebs. And it was a lot of our senior listed players came back with a little bit of cobweb. So I'm not too fussed, but it was just something that I noticed. It's probably been a knock of Finn's for a while, actually, just that disposal efficiency and what he does with the ball. But it was really good to see him back out there. Hope he gets some continuity now and, plays going into VFL finals, because I would love to see just him get the ball rolling. And, who knows what the end of the season sort of brings for him, if there is a future at Collingwood, or does he go to another club, or what that sort of looks like. Another guy was Mason Cox. So he was omitted from the AFL team because Membry's coming back, and he comes into this VFL side. Now, Coxie, 16 disposals, 23 hitouts, couple of clearances, couple of marks. There were some things that he was doing, and he was doing okay, I thought, but it was the things that he wasn't doing. Just lack of effort, not putting just not putting not even his body on the line, but it just seemed like the Cox aura had gone. There was a bit in our forward line where the ball was kicked in. He probably could have sort of gone back and taken the mark, but he just didn't go for it. And then the Frankston player marked the ball on the line next to the behind post. And I thought it was just those little things where it just looked like, and look, I don't like singling out players or anything like that. And I want my feedback to be constructive criticism, because that's how I would love my feedback. It just looked like he didn't want to be out there, to me personally. That's just sort of what it looked like. But he did took a couple of good marks. Hit up some really nice kicks. But just overall, definitely wasn't his best game. Didn't kick a goal. He shanked a couple. So mm, you know what I mean? Like, with Memory, McStay, Mycheck, Darcy Cameron all doing well in the seniors, unless Touchwood there's another injury, I think Mason Cox's time might be just staying in the VFL for now, unless there is an opening in the AFL squad, which we have seen when we've been resting players or there has been injuries. He's come in and he's done okay. But that's all it is. It's okay. It's not good. It's not great. It's okay. The next guy, Bobby Hill. Now, Bobby Hill is a different one because he wasn't injured. He has been training for the last 5 weeks, besides that 1 week that he was sick. So he comes back from personal leave. 2 goals in the first quarter, dazzled. He lit it up. He dazzled. There was a really nice one from getting a handball from Jordan to goal, kicking it from 40 out on an angle. Then one before the quarter time siren. Then another goal in the last quarter. And he had, 13 disposals or something for 3 goals. I thought he did great. I thought he did really, really good. He had 5 tackles. And whenever he got the ball, it was really exciting. Whenever he was around the ball, it was really exciting. But although the ball was getting inside our 50, the efficiency going inside 50, it wasn't really set up for Bobby too much. They did start him as a deep forward, then as a half forward, then they chucked him into the middle for a little bit as well, just to try and get him on the ball. I dare say a 3-goal performance, and it just looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's probably going to be cooked after this, just because it's his first competitive match in 5 weeks, and same with Jordan Goey and same with Finn as well. But I didn't see anything that would tell me that he wouldn't play or won't play against Brisbane next week. I think just he needed that one game. Remember, this was all managed minutes, and with the VFL stats, you don't see how many minutes they played or what percentage they played of the game. But he was getting his minutes managed, so was Jordan De Goey. But I think he just comes straight into the team next week. We're missing a little bit of that dazzle, and to kick 3 goals in the conditions that we had in a game where we just weren't providing for our forwards, I thought he did a really, really fantastic job. The second last guy is Tommy McGuane on his VFL debut. Kicked a goal, just tapped it in like a Happy Gilmore. Just tapped it in, just tapped it in. Only had 4 disposals. I didn't really see much of him. I don't think this game sort of suited him. He didn't really go with the ball or near the ball. I don't know if his minutes were managed either, or if he was playing the full game and I just didn't see him because he wasn't near the ball a lot. So I'd have to watch the replay if I was to see how he was sort of positioned like that, because I just couldn't see from the ground. So I can't really give him a proper assessment because he did only have a few touches of the ball. And again, I just don't know how his minutes were managed. But it was nice to see him kick a goal in black and white, the first goal in a long time. And it was just good to have that VF as a 17-year-old playing against these, these men, really. So it was good for him to have that hit out. Hopefully we see him in the VFL again on a day where he can shine, because in a game like today, like I said, the Dolphins really acclimatized well, and none of us shined. None of us shined. So the last guy everyone wants to hear about is Jordan De Goey, and how did he do? 19 disposals, a few tackles, a couple of clearances, 9 contested possessions. I thought Geordie did well. Sometimes he was trying to break tackles and he was getting caught, but other times he was showing his power and pushing through players, and it looked really, really good. I dare say he doesn't come straight back in. I'd probably play him against Williamstown in the VFL and then bring him in for the Hawthorn game if he's, they're still managing his sort of minutes. I don't think he did enough, especially being out for so long. What is it, like 10 weeks or so, since that Geelong game in the AFL, that constitutes bringing him back in next week, kind of like Bobby. I think Bobby comes back in. I don't think, obviously, Geordie comes back in because he's been out for so long, and it is an Achilles injury, so we've got to see if that flares up or what that's sort of looking like. But I thought he did enough, and I thought he looked really, really good. Like I've been saying, and I don't know if no one's believing me, he looks fitter and he looks quicker than I've seen him in the last couple of years, probably since that 2023 final series. He just looks really good. It looks like he's over his injuries now. Looks like he's leaned out a little bit as well. He does look powerful. It will take him a little bit to get used to it again. But for a player like Jordan De Goey, these conditions don't really suit him, like that sort of power I'm running through. It's more of an in and under type game. This is a perfect Dom Mitchell sort of game. But I thought that, he did get caught a few times, but because he tried to do a little bit too much with it, or try to give off an extra handball when it didn't need to be there, or players were trying to hit him up when he wasn't in good position, so he was getting tackled. So there were a little bit like that. But when he was running out and when he was sort of dodging players and fending off, I thought he looked fantastic, and it was a really good hit out, and something that fills me up with positivity that he will come in to the AFL side and have a genuine impact. Big bad Billy Frampton. So with Frampers, he didn't start that first quarter. He played the second, third, and fourth quarter, still managed minutes as well. He didn't have much to do because the ball was really going over the top of his head. They were just kicking goals left, right, and center. He did make a few mistakes with kicking out and just disposals in general. What did he have? Like 9 disposals or something. Didn't have a lot of the ball. Took a couple of marks. Had a couple of spoils. But just I don't think the system really worked for him. He didn't really have, Darcy Moore or Jeremy Howe helping him out, but it was good to get him minutes into his legs. I think a guy like Billy Frampton comes in against Brisbane. I think they were just fully managing him. I probably would have managed him more against Richmond, like coming straight in to the Richmond game tomorrow, or Sunday, sorry, as opposed to going through the VFL. But going through the VFL, put some minutes into his legs. He was getting a lot of shtick from the crowd. Let me tell you, they were calling him Two Touch Billy, but Two Touch Billy has a premiership medal, and these guys are drinking Jack Daniels on the other side of the fence, right? But he did things okay, probably a 6 out of 10. Didn't really you couldn't really stem the flow of goals that were coming through because they were just coming through left, right, and center. There wasn't much he could do with that, holding up that defense. But all in all, I thought everyone had a pretty good return of the injured players. Like I said, Mason Cox. But of the injured players, I thought everyone had a pretty good return. Bobby Hill had the best return. That's why I think out of all those guys, Bobby Hill will definitely, in my opinion, play against Brisbane next week. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Josh Bennett. Kicked 2 goals. VFL listed player, used to play for Hawthorn. I think he's had a really good season as a VFL listed player. Hoping he maybe gets picked up, maybe gets looked at as a rookie or something. But he's doing really, really well. And I love the way he just attacks the ball and he loves a goal, can find them pretty easily. So shout out to Josh Bennett as well. But if you watch the game, let me know your thoughts down below. Until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.